Yes, people, welcome into the channel. Welcome into Juno Talks Ball. I hope everybody's doing well on this Thursday evening. Today, Harry Maguire, or yesterday, Harry Maguire has been chatting to the media as he is away on England duty, and he has warned ERIK ten Hag that he will not sit on the bench. He will not sit on the bench and he needs more game time. And this is basically coming from talks that he's been having with Gareth Southgate. It seems that he's been talking to Gareth Southgate, and Gareth Southgate is a big admirer, believer, supporter of Harry Maguire. As we all know, Harry Maguire gets picked for England no matter what. I mean, that man is probably the first name on the team sheet. However, Southgate can only be picking him so many times. He can only be backing Maguire so much, and obviously there has been concerns raised by the England manager about the lack of game time that Maguire has been getting. Now, Maguire he's basically been speaking to the media, and he's basically saying that this is the only part of the career currently that he, or the only part of his career that he currently has control of. And obviously, he feels that his Manchester United career is kind of out of his hands due to the lack of game time. He was supposed to go to West Ham in the summer. However, he did state that that deal has not been completed between him and West Ham. So he's looking to move there in January, and West Ham are doing well. West Ham are doing super well this season. Um, they've had 4 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. And Harry Maguire is not a bad centre back. Harry Maguire is not a bad centre back. He's just a centre back that needs to play in a specific system. Um, like you saw under Ollie when he came to the club, Harry Maguire was good. That first 18 months of Harry Maguire was he was superb for the club. However, it all went downhill. I also think we like to pin everything on Harry Maguire, guys. We like to pin everything on Harry Maguire, and yes, he has made individual mistakes. But having said that, a lot of what went wrong under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United was when Matic went downhill. When Matic went downhill, the whole everything like imploded. Started playing McFred. Um, we started playing extremely counter-attacking football. I mean, if you just think back to the type of football we were playing with that midfield of Pogba, Bruno, and Matic, that was beautiful stuff, man. That was beautiful stuff. Let's be real. That was some of the best football we've played post Sir Alex. And you can add me in the DMs if you want. I mean, not in the DMs, not in the DMs. You can add me in the comments if you want to. But I mean, if you think of a midfield post Sir Alex, that midfield, whew, that was the most balanced, the most complete midfield we've had to date. But hopefully, ERIK ten Hag can improve on that. Hopefully, he can improve on that. So yeah, so Harry Maguire, I'm going off topic. Harry Maguire is 30 years old, and obviously Southgate has been speaking to him, and he's been raising concerns about Harry Maguire's lack of playing time. And obviously, the Euros 2024 is coming up, and Harry Maguire wants to be there in that competition. And this is Harry Maguire's biggest concern, that he's not going to be taken with to the Euros. Even though I think currently that he still will go, because Southgate has proven time and time and time and time again that he's going to always pick Harry Maguire. There's certain players that he's always going to pick. He's always going to pick Harry Maguire, and he's always going to pick Calvin Phillips. I mean, they have guaranteed places, and even if they're terrible, even if they don't play, I mean, Calvin Phillips, we last as he played, but he goes to England all the time. So that is obviously Harry Maguire's biggest concern, and he's 30 years old. He's 30 years old. I mean, he should be playing, man. He's been good for Manchester United this season. He's even come out and said, and I don't know why he does this. Like, I'll admit that he's been good, but for him to be saying this, so he's also stated, according to the Sun, My record under the manager speaks for itself. I haven't started as many games as I as I like, but my win percentage when I've played has been ridiculously high. Now, he's not lying. He's not lying. But let's be real, Harry Maguire. Let's be real. Let's think who you've played. You've played against Brentford that scored early in the game. Not your fault. Not your fault. You had a great game. You even had an assist. So I'm not attacking him. I'm just saying what he's been doing this to himself all the time. So yeah, and then Brentford sat deep, and they dealt with what they needed to deal with, and the goal wasn't their fault, and he provided assist. So he did have a good game. And if I'm being honest, after 8 games, if I'm picking Ten Hag's strongest side for the season thus far, which I mean, it's been abysmal. Harry Maguire for me gets in there. Lindelof doesn't. Harry Maguire does. And I thought Lindelof was a better player, but this season, Lindelof has seriously disappointed me. So yeah, so he does things like this, man. Where he basically backs himself, and when we were losing, he used to do the same thing, and I never understood it. It used to infuriate me. It used to infuriate me that he used to say such crazy things. But honestly, obviously, Manchester United has been linked with centre backs as well. So there's movement. So Harry Maguire to West Ham, it's probably going to be a done deal in January. And I wish him well, man. Like, yes, we as a fan base we've been on his back, but in all honesty, we just want to see our players do well. I mean, if you're gonna F up, we're gonna tell you effing up. This is Manchester United. But we just want to see our players do well. We just want to see our team do well, and I will wish him well. And I'm pretty sure every other Manchester United fan is going to wish him well. In other news, Ahmed Diallo. He was supposed to go on loan this season. However, he got injured in preseason. And now, with everything that's going on with Sancho, Ahmed Diallo is basically going to be competing with Anthony for the right wing position. And we are still in all competitions. Obviously, Champions League's not looking great. Um, Premier League, Premier League is actually it hasn't been great, but it's actually if you look at the table, it's better than it seems in terms of points. And I think Ahmed Diallo, this is the opportunity, man, to show the manager what he can do. Obviously, there's also Facundo Palestri that he's also competing against. But I honestly think the manager should give him a shot. I think he's a very direct player, just like Facundo. But I think he's a better dribbler than Facundo. Facundo's good going. Facundo's a perfect example of an old school winger, and they both direct, but they're both slightly different. Ahmed's more of a he's not a traditional winger. I don't want to say he's like Rashford, but in my eyes, he's more of that kind of an inverted forward. So there's options here. There's youngsters coming through, and Ten Hag has shown that he knows how to deal with his youngsters, and that is, if you go watch, there was a video that I posted a while back where I said one of the reasons I'm Erik Ten Hag in is because of his development of these youngsters. I mean, one of my favorite players this season has been Hannibal, hands down. And I think he needs more game time. I think he's been one of our best players. And, he passes the eye test and the stat test. I don't know, let's call it the stat test. If you look at his stats, he's ran the most miles since Erik Ten Hag has got into the club. And his numbers are up there, not only in Manchester United, in the Premier League. His stat is up there in the Premier League. So honestly, Erik ten Hag knows what he's doing when it comes to these youngsters. I mean, look at what he done at Ajax. That is Erik ten Hag. That is Erik ten Hag, and that is what we're hoping to see at Manchester United. So honestly, I hope Ahmed can prove himself. If he can't, all I'm asking is that he gets the opportunity, and I hope he does. If he doesn't, we're gonna have to move on. But I mean, I'm enjoying seeing, especially this season in Erik ten Hag's team. I'm enjoying seeing the wingers that are holding the lines, especially because we have. Sorry, guys. Especially because we have Hoyland playing striker. So that wingers holding the lines, looking to provide instead of looking to score. Like Rashford is looking to score. He's trying to adapt his game, but you can see he's getting confused. I think Rashford's going to come good, guys. I don't think sell Rashford. I don't think that's the answer. I think we give Rashford this season. I think we maybe even give Rashford next season. If it's obviously up to the manager. The thing is, he's going nowhere. He just signed a new contract. So I say 2 seasons. If he's not good enough, he needs to sit bench. That's the one thing I'll say about Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag needs to be putting players on the bench that's not performing. Um, he seriously does. Rashford, Bruno, Casemiro needs to be sitting on the bench, in my personal opinion. Um, Garnacho coming for Rashford. Garnacho's been brilliant. I think Rashford needs to come off the bench, man. And maybe even he needs to play on the right hand side. He needs to come off the bench, though, in my personal opinion. And I'm pretty sure many of you guys also agree with me. Um, what else? I think obviously we should be. Casemiro needs to sit bench as well. I think he needs to sit bench. These players need to sit bench. They need to know that they are not the be all and end all. Erik ten Hag needs to be strong. The club is backing him, and the fans are backing him. He just needs to show a style of play. If he's playing youngsters, obviously he needs to win games. But if he's playing youngsters, I don't think the crowd is going to be too hard on him. I don't think the fans is going to be too hard on him. And the youngsters are good, man. Garnacho's proven himself this season. Hannibal has proven himself this season. And what was my other one? Bruno. Honestly, Mount. For me, it's Mount over Bruno. That midfield combination of well, you know, I want to say my midfield combination. Um, the best I've seen this season has been it was that game against Crystal Palace. Um, but I think Casemiro needs to find his form. Casemiro needs to find his form. Um, and if Casemiro finds his form, I think I'll drop Hannibal. But I do think Hannibal needs game time, and I do think Hannibal needs game time. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about the topics we spoke about tonight. Erik ten Hag needing to be more ruthless. Harry Maguire going to West Ham, and obviously I'm pretty sure most of you, it will be almost unanimous that Harry Maguire needs to go. There'll be a few people that want him to stay, but I want Erik ten Hag's players in, man. I want the full team. I actually want a complete revamp. I want a complete revamp. We should have sold Rashford, man. I'm not saying that I'm not a big fan of Rashford, but just what has happened under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and under Radnick, I just want clean slate players with players that were not there. The only one that I won't mind keeping is Luke Shaw. But the rest of them, for me, the rest of them need to go. Yeah, so comments on Harry Maguire. And what was the last thing? Oh, comments on Ahmed and if you think he's gonna get game time. Anyway, guys, in the famous words of Tim the Tatman, leave a like, hit the subscribe, and let somebody know you love them. Peace out, man.